Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with today's session. Quick recap of last session. Last session, we discussed about what is MySQL server, then MySQL workbench. Then we saw how to install it, both MySQL workbench also and MySQL server. Both we installed successfully. Then we did some work in MySQL Workbench, isn't it? I created one database, then I created one table, I added some records, and then we saw those records. And then we discussed about different types of SQL statement. We'll go through it again. Okay. So SQL statements are categorized into five types. One is data query language. Okay. Then we have data manipulation language, data definition language, data control language, and transaction control. In the last session, I guess I have discussed about this, and then I got disconnected, I guess. And if not, if you have watched the recording, very good. We will go through this again one by one. So SQL commands are divided into many categories. So mainly there are five categories. First is data query language. Then we have data manipulation. About this, I have told you in the last session, but still, we will go through them again one by one. Then data definition, data control, and last we have transaction control. Okay, coming to the first category, that is data control language. Sorry, data query language. Now, in data query language, one basic command is there called select, and then its variations. There are many variations of selector. Select with from, then select from, group by, then select from, where is there, having, then order by, limit, joins. So many things will come along with the basic syntax select. Select is the most frequently used command. Maximum time for data analysis, you will be using select query. Okay? So select query is very important. Favorite in interviews also, maximum time in interviews, the questions which they ask, they are based on select only. So this command is used for retrieving records from the database. Like in your database, you have table and tables. There can be many tables. And within the table, there are records. And you want to retrieve the records and send it to the workbench. Workbench means to the end user. एंड यूजर को रिकॉर्ड्स कहां दिखता है वर्कबेंच में so to retrieve the records from the table we have to use data query language correct you're querying that please give me all the records of employee so select star from employee in that again conditions you can put like salary greater than 50,000 or salary between 50 and 60 or those who stay in Pune so many conditions you can put and you can retrieve it on the condition base. Sometimes you can join also more than one table. Lot of combinations will be learned. Correct? So data query language, it is for retrieving the records from the database and presenting those records to the end user. Okay? So DQL is used to retrieve data from the database. One basic command come that is select and फिर select के साथ काफी variations है. Select from, then select from where with order by, then limit, फिर group by के साथ having, काफी है. फिर from के साथ join भी होता है, एक से ज्यादा tables को connect करना है तो. But basic command select है, and फिर उसके additional clauses है. ठीक है? तो वो additional clauses क्या होता है, वो सब पढ़ना है एक एक करके. Next comes data manipulation language. In this, the commands are for making changes in the database. Means आपके टेबल में नया रिकॉर्ड ऐड करना है टेबल ऑलरेडी है ठीक है? And in that I want to add new record or I want to delete any record. कोई भी record को delete करना है. Or I want to modify any value in the table. तो टेबल का कोई भी रिकॉर्ड है तो रिकॉर्ड के वैल्यूज चेंज करना है एक. ओके, इफ आई वांट टू मॉडिफाई द वैल्यूज और आई वांट टू डिलीट द रिकॉर्ड्स और आई वांट टू ऐड न्यू रिकॉर्ड, then we use this data manipulate. Manipulation means you are doing changes. So changes किससे होने वाला है? न्यू रिकॉर्ड ऐड करोगे टेबल चेंज होगा, रिकॉर्ड डिलीट करोगे रिकॉर्ड के वैल्यू मॉडिफाई करोगे. तो in this there are three main commands coming in this category. One is insert for adding new records. We will be learning each and every command जो specifically data analytics के लिए useful होगा. तो insert command comes, then delete is there, and third update. ठीक है, ये सब कमांड्स एक एक करके पढ़ने वाला है, उनके सिंटैक्सेस पढ़ेंगे, along with that exercises हो गए उन कमांड्स के ऊपर बेस्ड. ठीक है, so don't worry. So insert command is there, delete command, update command, all come under which category? Data manipulation. ठीक है, I hope it is clear. So DML is used to manipulate data. Manipulate means you're understanding, na? Making changes in the database. Okay, to manipulate data stored in the database. Who all come under this category? Insert, update, and delete. Then comes data definition language. Now, in this, we are defining the structure of the table. Table क्या automatic नहीं आने वाला, table पहले create करना पड़ेगा. So you have to give the design of your table. Like, what should be the name of my table? Okay, how many columns will be there? Then what will be the name of each column? Like number, name, getting salary, whatever. So name of the column, what will be the data type of each column? Like number can be integer, name can be varchar, salary float. So telling the name of the column, its data type, sometimes constraints. There are different constraints which you can put on the column. All this design part, you have to tell it using DDL command. तो DDL में काफी आता है, like create is the main thing. Create table. Creating a table comes in which category? DDL. So creating your table, you're telling the name of the table, column names, column data type, their constraints. Sometimes there are more than one table. So which column is related to another column? All that you'll tell at the time of create. You can modify table also. Later, design you can alter, but not runtime. So altering means you can add new column or you can drop any column. Sometimes you realize that this column is of no use, you can drop it. You realize that one column is missing, which is needed, so you can add that column. So for that there is alter command provided. Okay. और suppose you anymore don't you no more need this table. ये टेबल की जरूरत ही नहीं है अभी. गेटिंग? तो उसके रिकॉर्ड्स के साथ साथ उसका डिजाइन सब कुछ डिस्ट्रॉय करना है. तो ड्रॉप है. तो ड्रॉप टेबल, ऑल्टर टेबल, क्रिएट टेबल, they all come under data definition. Remember, unless and until you define the table, you cannot add records in it. इसमें records add करना शुरू करना है, record delete करना है, record manipulate करना है. तो उसके लिए पहले टेबल तो एग्जिस्ट होना चाहिए. तो पहले टेबल करना पड़ेगा. तो टेबल का डिजाइन कैसे बताओगे? बाय डेटा डेफिनेशन लैंग्वेज. गेटिंग? तो लास्ट के सेशन में देखो हमने एक टेबल क्रिएट किया था, क्रिएट टेबल एम्प्लॉय. फिर उसमें मैंने दो ही या तीन कॉलम ऐड किए थे, एम्प्लॉय आईडी, एम्प्लॉय का नेम एंड उसका सैलरी. तो वो जो तीन थे वो तीन कॉलम्स थे. फिर हर एक का मैंने डेटा टाइप दिया था, किसी को आईडी दिया था, किसी सॉरी इंट दिया था, किसी को वेर केयर दिया था, किसी को फ्लोट दिया था. तो दे आर द डेटा टाइप्स. ओके, so all those commands will come under DDL. These commands also one by one we are going to learn. Don't worry. So DDL is used to define the structure. And बोलने की जगह पे और चाहिए था, structure or schema of the database. Schema in the sense design. Schema means design. Getting? एंड जब तक डिजाइन नहीं बनेगा तब तक आप रिकॉर्ड्स नहीं ऐड कर सकते हो. याद रखना, द फर्स्ट स्टेप ऑफ database management is first you have to design the table. Once the tables are designed, then you can start adding records and delete them, manipulate them. You can retrieve those records. All that operations can be done only after creating the table. So we have create table, alter table. Alter means you're changing the design. Like पहले आईडी नेम एंड सैलरी ऐड किया, बाद में पता चला नहीं डिपार्टमेंट भी ऐड करना चाहिए. देन यू गॉट टू नो नहीं इसकी सिटी भी ऐड करनी चाहिए, तो यू कैन ऐड. Or you realize that this column is of no use, you can remove that column. Table की ही जरूरत नहीं है, तो you can drop that table. Okay, you want to rename the table. You want to delete the record, but the table should remain. टेबल रहना चाहिए, सिर्फ रिकॉर्ड डिस्ट्रॉय होना चाहिए, तो ट्रंकेट दिया है. तो हर एक कमांड एक एक करके पढ़ेंगे, डोंट वरी. एंड देन कम्स डेटा कंट्रोल लैंग्वेज. डेटा कंट्रोल लैंग्वेज में जो कमांड्स होते हैं, दे आर फॉर ऑथेंटिकेशन एंड ऑथराइजेशन. Getting? So authentication meaning you have to check whether that user is a legal user or no to access your database. आपका database access करने के लिए वो user legal है कि नहीं. तो username, password, you give the username, you give the password. Like जैसे हमने पहले root user बनाया और उसका password set किया. So that come under this category. And sometimes you want to give your privileges. उसको ऑथराइजेशन कहते हैं. ऑथेंटिकेशन मीन्स वैलिडेटिंग वेदर द यूजर इज लीगल और नॉट. ओके, एंड सपोज एक यूजर है और उसका ये डेटाबेस है, उसमें काफी टेबल्स है, एंड दैट यूजर वांट्स टू गिव द एक्सेस टू हिज टेबल टू सम अदर यूजर, कि कोई और यूजर इसके डेटाबेस के अंदर के टेबल्स एक्सेस कर सकता है. सिर्फ एक्सेस नहीं, उसमें रिकॉर्ड भी ऐड कर सकता है. तो वट एवर प्रिविलेजेस, तो उसको हम कहते हैं ग्रांटिंग प्रिविलेजेस. सो वन यूजर कैन ग्रांट द प्रिविलेज टू अनदर यूजर. If the user want, he can take that privileges back by revoke. Revoking means taking the privilege back. Granting means giving that access. तो ग्रांट करते समय क्या क्या एक्सेस है वो भी बता सकते हो. वेदर ओनली व्यूइंग द टेबल, सिर्फ टेबल देखने का परमिशन है, या देखने के साथ इंसर्ट करने का परमिशन भी है. तो वो ग्रांट करते समय आपको बताना है व्हाट परमिशंस यू हैव गिवन, एंड यू कैन टेक द परमिशंस बैक आल्सो. तो ऑल दैट कम अंडर डेटा कंट्रोल. So DCL deals with the control and security of the data within the database. Commands like grant, revoke. I told you, like, one user has created his database and he wants to give the permission to access these tables to some other user. तो वो दूसरे यूजर को वो परमिशंस कैसे देगा? बाय ग्रांटिंग. एंड वो परमिशंस वापस ले भी सकता है बाय रिवोक. So there are many such commands. And then the last come, that is transaction control language, or we call it as TCL. इधर full form गलत हो गया, TCL. Okay. Now transaction control का क्या पार्ट है? ये सब स्पेशलाइज्ड केसेस है. जनरली दोज हु डू ओनली एनालिटिक्स, उनको पहले तीन कैटेगरी सफिशिएंट है. मींस यू डोंट नीड टू गो फॉर DCL एंड TCL. ये कमांड्स तक आने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. आपको पहले तीन कैटेगरी में काम हो जाता है. लाइक करेक्ट, if you are going for data engineering or data analysis job, business intelligence वगैरह, तो भी ये first three sufficient होता है. But what comes under this category? Now, before that, just what I want to tell you is whenever you perform any command, any like insert command किया है, या delete command है, या update command, what happens is whenever you issue the command, immediately the changes take place in the backend. I've told this everything in the last session. So when you're performing insert, the changes are immediately reflected on your secondary storage. Secondary storage में जहां भी आपके tables है, immediately affected. Delete करते हो वो direct immediately database में affect करता है. Update direct database में affect. So in this case, what happens is continuously it is accessing the disk. Each instruction के लिए disk access होता है. You can reduce this disk access by doing all these operations in a batch form. एक bunch of instruction. Getting? So what you can do, ये शुरू करने के पहले यहाँ एक transaction शुरू कर सकते हैं. Now you may ask, what is a transaction? Transaction is a sequence of operations done on the database in some specified period of time. एक specific period of time में जितने sequence of operations आप database में करते हो, उसको एक transaction कहेंगे. So transaction is a sequence of operations done on the database in some stipulated time or in some period of time. Okay. So by default, what is happening? It is doing immediate changes. एक insert किया direct change, delete किया direct change, उसको हम immediate update कहते हैं. बट बहुत बार ये immediate update performance deteriorate करता है एंड डिस्क की लाइफ भी डिक्रीज करता है क्योंकि उतनी बार डिस्क एक्सेस होता है. इससे अच्छा क्या करो, ये पूरा एज अ बैच के फॉर्म में देख सकते हो. तो यू कैन स्टार्ट द ट्रांजैक्शन, कीप डूइंग. All these operations are not getting reflected on the disk. It is only in the memory. मेमोरी में ये चेंजेस हो रहे हैं. ठीक है. तो इंसर्ट वो चेंजेस मेमोरी में, डिलीट या चेंजेस अपडेट, एंड देन व्हेन यू कॉल कमिट. अब ये कमिट एंड ऑल ये किसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस है? टीसीएल के, ट्रांजैक्शन कंट्रोल. So the moment I call commit, that time it will make all these memory changes once only permanent in the disk. तो वो जो भी changes मेमोरी में हुए थे वो कहाँ रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा? डिस्क पे रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा. गेटिंग? तो इसमें क्या होगा, अभी एक ही बार ये डिस्क एक्सेस हो रहा है. फ्रीक्वेंट डिस्क एक्सेस विल वेयर इट विल इंक्रीज द वेयर एंड टेयर ऑफ द डिस्क. सो इसका परफॉर्मेंस बेटर रहना चाहिए. तो समटाइम्स डूइंग दिस ऑपरेशंस immediately, instead of that deferred update करो. Deferred update means वो changes immediately नहीं होने. It should happen in the memory, and when you call commit, that time only all these changes should get reflected. तो उसके लिए ये commit operation है. Then save point है. एक save point means जहां indicate होता है कि अगर failure आया तो इस point तक roll back करना है. अब सपोज इधर सेव पॉइंट डाला था, ये ऑपरेशन चल रहा है, कमिट किया नहीं, उसके पहले कुछ फेलियर अकर हुआ, तो यू कैन गिव कॉल टू रोल बैक. Rollback will undo all this operation till the latest save point. So rollback, commit, getting all this come under transaction control. Okay, so I hope that part is also clear. So TCL is used to manage transactions within a database. Transactions क्या होते हैं मैंने बताया. A sequence of operation done in some short period of time. Commit, rollback, save point. जनरली ट्रांजैक्शन शुरू कर देता हूं एक सेव पॉइंट डाल देने का, काम चलने दो. कमिट आ गया तो वो सब चेंजेस परमानेंट होगा, बट कमिट के पहले ही कुछ फेलियर आया तो यू कैन गिव कॉल टू रोल बैक. रोल बैक विल अंडू ऑल द एक्टिविटीज डन टिल द लेटेस्ट सेव पॉइंट तक लेके आएगा एंड अगेन यू कैन स्टार्ट योर ट्रांजैक्शन. ठीक है. ओके, तो ऑल दिस कमांड्स आर क्लियर. जस्ट यू कैन गिव मी क्विक कंफर्मेशन. देन वी हैव टू स्टार्ट लर्निंग ऑल देम वन बाय वन. अभी इनको सबको एक एक करके सीखना शुरू करना है. ठीक है. तो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, एक एक कमांड पढ़ना है, फिर उनके एग्जांपल्स, सो मेनी थिंग्स. Okay, can you give me quick confirmation that all these five categories are clear to you? Data definition, data manipulation, data query, data control, transaction control.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ठीक है. चलो, तो लेट्स मूव अहेड. अभी एक एक करके देखेंगे. फर्स्ट विल सी हाउ टू क्रिएट डेटाबेस. थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया लास्ट टाइम आया है, एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल हमने किया था. तो remember, without creating database, you cannot start creating your tables. That is the rule of MySQL. Even in Postgres also you do the same thing. Getting? Oracle वगैरह में ना वहाँ catalogs का concept है. Ultimately similar thing. Database is like a namespace. वो namespace जैसे हो गया. ओके, देयर इज अ फेडरल डेटाबेस एंड उसके अंदर फिर आप अपने अपने डेटाबेसेस बनाते जाओ एंड फिर उसके अंदर टेबल्स बना सकते हैं. Getting? This is like if two tables, if you want to create with the same name, you cannot create in one database. Then create another database. In that also, you can create a table with the same name. So structure is only like that, that you create databases and within the database, you create tables. Now, how to create database? There is a command create. Create is the basic keyword. It's a keyword, but here keywords are case insensitive. बाकी लैंग्वेज जैसे नहीं, कुछ लैंग्वेजेस होते हैं लाइक सी या जावा, दे आर केस सेंसिटिव. पाइथन ऑल्सो, दीज आर केस इनसेंसिटिव. क्रिएट पूरा कैपिटल लिखो, पूरा स्मॉल केस में लिखो, सी कैपिटल लिखो और ये माने टाइटल केस, अपर केस, लोअर केस, डजंट मैटर. MySQL is case insensitive. So create is a keyword. Then what you want to create, that you have to tell. So it is also a keyword. And please remember, create is used for creating many more database objects. टेबल जैसे, टेबल नहीं, मैंने ये गलत दिया, टेबल नहीं, डेटाबेस लिखना था. टेबल तो बाद में, पहले डेटाबेस सीखोगे ना. फर्स्ट यू हैव टू क्रिएट अ डेटाबेस. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर, क्रिएट इज अ बेसिक command. Create is a basic keyword. Then you have to tell what you're going to create. So you're going to create database. And after that, you have to give the name of the database. It should be a meaningful name, database name. Okay, so it should be combination of letters and digit. Letters, digit, underscore के combination का होगा. शुरू digit से नहीं होगा. Reserve word नहीं use कर सकते हो. You're not allowed to use reserve word as a database name. Correct? ये की create, ये database, ये reserve words है. तो आपके database को नाम create नहीं दे सकते हो. It is wrong. Keywords जो होता है, keywords means reserve words that you cannot give it as a name to your database. So it should be a meaningful name, combination of letters, digit, underscore, cannot start with a digit, reserve words not allowed. Getting? ये basic rules सबको follow करने. Okay? So if you run this command, it will create a database with this name. Okay? But sometimes suppose if you try to create a database with some name, and if the database is already existing, it will give you an error. So if you want to avoid that error, तो आप लोग ऐसे फ्लैग्स यूज कर सकते हैं. देखो, क्रिएट डेटाबेस, ओके, एंड हियर यू कैन राइट इफ नॉट exist. Okay, and then the name of the database. So it will avoid generating that error, because here you have already mentioned that please create this database only if it doesn't exist. कैसे प्रॉपर इंग्लिश फॉर्म में है ना, as you talk in English, that way you are telling that please create the database with this name, but if it doesn't exist, okay, तो if not exist, and not भी निकाल सकते हो और if exist भी लिख सकते हो, but इस केस में if not exist ही लिखना valid है. Getting? So if the table, sorry, database doesn't exist, it will create it. But if it already exists, it will simply ignore it. It will not give you an error. I'll show you that too. वो एरर कैसे आता है वो भी दिखाता हूँ. और ये फ्लैग डाल दिया तो कैसे वो एरर सिंपली एक वार्निंग में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. See, command is create database, database name. Basic command है. Okay guys, all of you, ठीक है? तो you have to carefully listen. Let it be नया है तो भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Okay, people from BA background also have learned SQL and entered in analytics field and all. बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स वाले, एक एक स्टूडेंट तो हमारे यहाँ थे, शी वाज फ्रॉम वो बायो बायो माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, सॉरी, माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, उसका तो कोई भी कंसर्न ही नहीं था। स्टिल माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में जॉब नहीं है, इसलिए शी थॉट लेट्स ट्राई इन आईटी फील्ड। तो शी डिड दैट होल डेटा इंजीनियरिंग कोर्स एंड गॉट जॉब, लाइक गेटिंग। तो ऐसा नहीं है, अलग अलग बैकग्राउंड के लोग भी ये स्किल सीख के निकल पड़ते हैं, लाइक गेटिंग। So that's what, ना, आईटी फील्ड इज फील्ड विच इज ओपन टू एवरीवन। मैकेनिकल वाले लोग भी आते हैं, राइट, और मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड टेलीकम्युनिकेशन, कितने अलग अलग ब्रांच के इंजीनियरिंग के फील्ड वाले लोग भी आईटी में आके व्यवस्थित प्रॉपरली सेटल हो जाते हैं, राइट। सो क्रिएट डेटाबेस, डेटाबेस नेम। प्लीज रिमेंबर ये दोनों कीवर्ड्स हैं, क्रिएट इज अ कीवर्ड, डेटाबेस इज अ कीवर्ड, ठीक है। एंड एज आई सेड, फॉर मोर फुल प्रूफ कि आपको एरर आना ही नहीं चाहिए, getting, so you can use this create database if not exist and database name, okay। तो ये कमांड क्लियर है, लेट्स ट्राई। हर एक चीज के लिए मैं बताता हूँ। ये हमने कनेक्शन बना के रखा था। नाउ whenever we click it, it asks you for the password. So I have given for root user root password only. Last time we did this, if you remember, in the last session we did the same thing. Okay, if you want, for you people, I'm just showing one database. Create database and database name I'll give. Like suppose I'm giving testdb. Okay, you have to select that command and click on execute or control enter. If you press control enter, then also it will get executed, right? The database is created. Now suppose if I try to run the same command, so it is already existing. It will give you a error, either red sign. Green indicates successful. Red means error. See, is it giving a cross sign? Error code 1007 can't create database testdb, database exists. But instead of that, if I put that flag, create database if not exist, getting? Maybe मैंने exist का S नहीं लिखा रहेगा, है. Okay. Now if I run, it will not give error. It will just give warning that ये database already exist करता है. देखो, जस्ट एक इंफॉर्मेशन, एक ट्रायंगल आता है, ट्रायंगल, एक रेड क्रॉस, एक ग्रीन आता है, ठीक है। तो नाउ व्हाई इट इज गिविंग दैट वार्निंग, जस्ट एक वार्निंग बता रहा है, बिकॉज ये नाम का डेटाबेस पहले से ही बना है। इफ यू रिफ्रेश इट, कैन यू सी टेस्ट डीबी? तो द डेटाबेस विद द नेम टेस्ट डीबी इज ऑलरेडी existing, therefore it gives that one. Agreed? ठीक है? I hope it is clear. Now, if you want to remove that database, you can drop the database also. So the command is drop database, database name. Drop database, database name. Now, in this also, if you try to drop, okay, drop database and database name. Okay. Now, if you are trying to drop testdb and if it doesn't exist, अभी उल्टा आएगा, error आएगा। ये है नहीं तो एरर आएगा, और ये है तो एरर। क्यों? क्योंकि ये क्रिएट करने जा रहे हो, और ये नाम का डेटाबेस अगर पहले से है तो एरर देता है। इज इट राइट? तो ड्रॉपिंग करते समय उल्टा होना चाहिए। इफ एग्जिस्ट तो ड्रॉप कर, इफ नॉट एग्जिस्ट प्लीज डोंट गिव एरर। गेटिंग or no? So here also you can use that flag like this. If exist means here opposite. What you are telling? Please drop testdb only if it is existing. अगर एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है तो ड्रॉप कर, एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रहा है तो एरर मत दे। गेटिंग? देखो, मैं अभी ये विदाउट इफ आई एम ट्राइंग टू डिलीट इट, ठीक है, ड्रॉप हो गया क्योंकि वो प्रेजेंट था, ठीक है। यहां से गया फ्रॉम दिस लिस्ट, कैन यू सी फ्रॉम दिस लिस्ट टेस्ट डीबी इज गॉन। Now again, if I try to drop it, it is going to give an error because testdb doesn't exist. देखो इधर रेड आ गया, बॉटम पे पढ़ सकते हो हाँ तुम लोग. 1008 can't drop database, database doesn't exist. तो अगर आपको ऐसा एरर नहीं चाहिए तो फिर ये फ्लैग यूज करते जाओ, दैट इज इफ exist. ठीक है. तो what it will do, it will try to drop this database only if it is existing. If it is not existing, it will not give that error. देखो, is it giving error? No, it is just providing information. वो जस्ट एक इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है कि ये नाम का डेटाबेस नहीं है, बट एरर नहीं जनरेट किया. गेटिंग गाइस? एरर रहेगा तो वो एरर कोड आता है देखो. So it has not generated error, it has just given an information like एक warning sort of thing या information दिया कि ये नाम का डेटाबेस प्रेजेंट नहीं है. ओके, तो आई होप इट इज क्लियर. देखो कमांड ड्रॉप डेटाबेस, डेटाबेस नेम, और ड्रॉप डेटाबेस इफ एग्जिस्ट डेटाबेस. ये if exist, if not exist, these are all making the commands robust. सिक्योरली हम परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं. मीनिंग अगर डेटाबेस नहीं है तो ही क्रिएट करेगा, है तो एरर नहीं देगा, सिंपली बाईपास करके आगे. सेम थिंग इफ एग्जिस्ट का क्या फायदा है? इफ इट इज एग्जिस्टिंग देन ओनली इट विल ड्रॉप इट. इफ इट इज नॉट एग्जिस्टिंग, okay, it will not give you error, it will simply give a information and move ahead. ठीक है. ओके, तो कैन यू गिव मी क्विक कंफर्मेशन अबाउट creating the database and deleting the database?
Yes, clear, sir. Topic.
Got it, sir.
Sure, others also. बाकी लोग भी रिस्पॉन्ड करो, नहीं तो ओनली फजल एंड अदिति ये दोनों ही सिर्फ. Others also, Ankit and I guess one more had joined. At least when I started, at least 4 जन थे. Afterwards, some more might have joined. But please keep interacting, huh? Otherwise, I'll just finish up with the course. ऐसे हो जाता है. जब response नहीं आता है, तो at the end, what happens? The trainer just simply tries to complete it. So that thing should not arise. ऐसी situation नहीं आनी चाहिए. Interaction करते रहो. And comments वगैरह मैं नहीं पढ़ता हूँ. It is kind request. आप unmute करो और बात करो. Don't be afraid of. ठीक है. जनरली वो मैसेजेस में जाके पढ़ना लिटिल बिट cumbersome for me because एक बार ये स्लाइड प्रेजेंटेशन शुरू हुआ तो मैसेजेस इज लिटिल बिट डिफिकल्ट. मूविंग अहेड, बिकॉज आई डोंट हैव अ टीम ऑफ पीपल कि मेरा एक आदमी सिर्फ मैसेजेस पढ़ रहा है, एक ये पूरा सेशन का होस्ट है, नथिंग लाइक दैट. आई एम वन मैन शो. आई ओनली arrange the lecture and I only host it. Get it? Moving to the next thing. Okay, someone has kept unmute. पूछना है तो पूछ लो. Now next is we have to start doing work in that database. अभी मुझे ये डेटाबेस के अंदर काम करना शुरू करना है. देखो अगर मैंने ये कमांड वापस रन किया, ठीक है, ये रिफ्रेश करो, देखो एक टेस्ट डीबी नाम का डेटाबेस क्रिएट हुआ. Now what I want to do is I want to start creating tables in that database. ये डेटाबेस के अंदर मुझे टेबल्स क्रिएट करना शुरू करना. तो I have to switch in that database. And you can switch it by writing use database name. Okay, so we have to use command. So, use database name. सेम थिंग अगर पोस्टग्रेस में काम करते हो सिर्फ यहाँ कमांड नहीं होता है, वहां बैकस्लैश सी एंड डेटाबेस नाम लिखना है, तो इट विल जस्ट कनेक्ट इट टू दैट डेटाबेस. ठीक है. तो सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्चुअली वैसे ही होता है अलग अलग डेटाबेस में, सिर्फ थोड़े बहुत कमांड्स इधर उधर. ओके, ठीक. Use database name. That's all. Still, someone has kept mic unmute or something. अगर रखा है एंड कुछ पूछना है तो प्लीज पूछो, अदरवाइज ट्राई टू कीप योर माइक म्यूट ओनली। ओके, चलो, सी, I'll write use test db. So when I write use test db, is it going in that database? अभी देखो ये active हो गया, use database. So currently we are in that database. So after this, whatever tables you create, they all will get automatically created under this database. यहाँ दिखेगा भी. Can you see that test db is bold, वो black, dark black दिख रहा है. Means currently ये database active है. ठीक है? If you want to see the list of all the databases, जितने भी डेटाबेस क्रिएट किए उसकी लिस्ट देखनी रहेगी. तो फॉर दैट ऑल्सो प्रोविजन इज गिवन, शो डेटाबेसेस. इतना सिंपल कमांड है, शो डेटाबेसेस. इट विल गिव यू द लिस्ट ऑफ डेटाबेसेस क्रिएटेड टिल नाउ. सी हियर, शो database. Select the command and click on execute or control enter if you have habit of. See, in this some databases are of MySQL's internal purpose for storing some metadata. Metadata means data about data. अपने डेटा का भी इंफॉर्मेशन कहीं तो और रखा हुआ है, उसको मेटा डेटा कहते हैं. So there are some databases created by MySQL for its internal purpose, and some databases are our created. So we created net-to-net in last lecture, testdb just now. Can you see in this list? एक net-to-net है, testdb है. ठीक है? तो इस तरह से हम लोग अपने डेटाबेसेस की लिस्ट देख सकते हैं. नाउ कम्स द नेक्स्ट थिंग. डेटाबेस क्रिएट किया, फिर डेटाबेस में स्विच भी हो गए बाय यूज. नाउ वी हैव टू स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग टेबल. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी हैव टू ऐड रिकॉर्ड्स इन इट. रिकॉर्ड्स ऐड करने, तो रिकॉर्ड्स किस में ऐड करोगे? टेबल में. तो यू हैव टू फर्स्ट गिव द डिजाइन ऑफ योर टेबल, द स्कीमा. वी कॉल इट एज स्कीमा. तो क्रिएटिंग टेबल comes under DDL category. Remember, ये DDL command है. That is data definition language command. Okay. So here you will be telling what is the name of your table, then the columns list, each column name, their data type. If there are constraints, we can add constraint. We'll be learning about that constraint. Constraint का एक तो separate devoted topic आएगा, don't worry. ठीक है? तो टेबल कैसे क्रिएट करना है? तो फॉर दैट कमांड इज देयर, क्रिएट. क्रिएट इज अ बेसिक कमांड. सी, डेटाबेस क्रिएट करना है तो भी क्रिएट से ही शुरू करना है. What you want to create, that is the second keyword. This is the first keyword. This is basic keyword. Then if you want to create database, then the keyword is database and then the name of the database. Same way, if you want to create a table, create basic keyword, then what? Table, then the table name, ठीक है? Bracket, round bracket, and then you'll give the list of column, its data type, column, and the data type. Go on giving list separated by comma, close, semicolon. The table with that name is created, and it is created under which database? In which you have switched by writing use database name. ठीक है? use database name देके आप जिस database में enter हुए हैं, उस database के अंदर ही आपका ये table create होगा. Okay? तो create is the keyword, table is the keyword. Again, please remember, it is not at all necessary you have to write in uppercase only or lowercase. केस insensitive है, but still ये keyword है, ये reserve word है. Like in English also, do we have reserve words? English के भी अपने reserve words होता है ना, whose meaning are decided and you cannot use it for anything else. You have to use it for that purpose only. जैसे articles होता है, a, and, the, verbs होता है, run, go, sleep. So these verbs and articles, I cannot use it for anything else. वो जिस पर्पस के लिए उसी के लिए यूज करना पड़ेगा। सेम वे ये जो कीवर्ड्स है वो जिस पर्पस के लिए उधर ही यूज कर सकते हो, नथिंग एल्स। लाइक फॉर टेबल नेम आई कैनॉट यूज दिस कीवर्ड क्रिएट टेबल क्रिएट, रॉन्ग है। टेबल का नाम क्या नहीं हो सकता है, रिजर्व वर्ड। ठीक है, इट शुड बी अ मीनिंगफुल नेम, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ लेटर्स, डिजिट, अंडरस्कोर। डिजिट से स्टार्ट नहीं होगा, रिजर्व वर्ड नहीं हो सकता है। ठीक है, फिर राउंड ब्रैकेट, कॉलम नेम, कॉलम डेटा टाइप। इफ देर आर कंस्ट्रेंट्स, कंस्ट्रेंट्स ऐड करो। अब बोलोगे कंस्ट्रेंट्स क्या होते हैं, तो दे आर द कंडीशंस which are enforced on the values of that column। ये कॉलम के वैल्यूज पे हमने ये कंडीशन एनफोर्स की है। मीन्स वॉट एवर वैल्यूज आर देयर इन दैट कॉलम विल सेटिस्फाई दीज कंस्ट्रेंट। मीन्स इस कॉलम में ऐसे वैल्यू आ ही नहीं सकते जो ये कंस्ट्रेंट को फॉलो नहीं करता। कंस्ट्रेंट एक कंडीशन है, याद रखना। कंस्ट्रेंट इज अ कंडीशन which is enforced on the values of that column। मीन्स इस कॉलम के सारे वैल्यू इस कंडीशन को फॉलो करेंगे। जो वैल्यू ये फॉलो नहीं, वो वैल्यू स्टोर ही नहीं होगा। मीन्स अगर आप स्टोर करने जाते हो और वो वैल्यू इस कंस्टेंट को नहीं फॉलो कर रहा है, द वैल्यू वोंट गेट एडेड ओनली इन दैट, वो जाएगा ही नहीं। आपका माइस्क्यूएल डायरेक्टली एरर देगा। ठीक है, तो ऐसे मल्टीपल कॉलम्स, कॉलम डेटा टाइप, अगर उस पर कंस्टेंट है तो लिखो as many columns you want you can add around semicolon। एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे देखो, हमने एक टेबल बनाया, क्रिएट टेबल एम्प्लॉय। क्रिएट इज अ कीवर्ड, टेबल इज अ कीवर्ड। क्रिएट इज अ बेसिक command, then what you want to create, table, name of the table, and then in the round bracket you are giving list of columns। तो उसमें पहला कॉलम है एम्प्लॉय आईडी, उसका डेटा टाइप इंटीजर, मींस इसमें सिर्फ होल नंबर्स आ सकते हैं। एंड एक कंस्ट्रेंट दिया है कॉल्ड प्राइमरी की, मीनिंग it will not allow to give any duplicate employee ID। सारे एम्प्लॉय आईडी यूनिक ही होने चाहिए। गेटिंग, मीन्स अगर एक रिकॉर्ड को एम्प्लॉय आईडी 101 दिया और दूसरे को भी 101 देने गए, तो ये रिकॉर्ड सेव ही नहीं होगा। MySQL डायरेक्ट एरर एंड दिस रिकॉर्ड वोंट गेट सेव्ड। व्हाई? बिकॉज एम्प्लॉय आईडी को आपने प्राइमरी की दिया है, एंड जिसको भी प्राइमरी की रहता है वो कॉलम के वैल्यूज ऑलवेज यूनिक होते हैं, they cannot be repeated। Okay, they are supposed to be distinct। distinct means समझ में आया ना, यूनिक सिनोनिम है, यूनिक का सिनोनिम डिस्टिंक्ट। तो all employee IDs should be distinct। never you can have two records with the same employee ID। Okay, I'll show you, and we will be learning about keys again in detail। और भी डिटेल में वापस एक टॉपिक आएगा जिसमें प्राइमरी की, फॉरेन की, फिर यूनिक कंस्ट्रेंट है, नॉट नल कंस्ट्रेंट है, चेक कंस्ट्रेंट है, डिफॉल्ट कंस्ट्रेंट है, काफी पढ़ेंगे। वो सब टाइप के कंस्ट्रेंट सीखेंगे। नेक्स्ट कॉलम इज नेम, देन इट इज अ कैरेक्टर ऑफ 50। व्हाट इज वेयर केयर, केयर विल लर्न, डोंट वरी। बट इतना याद रखो, इसमें टेक्स्ट स्टोर होने वाला है। टेक्स्ट नंबर है इसलिए इंटीजर, टेक्स्ट स्टोर होने वाला है वेयर केयर। सैलरी भी मैंने इंट ही दिया है, गेटिंग, होल नंबर। तो इस तरह से टेबल क्रिएट हो जाएगा। Here also you can give that if not exist। इधर भी आप वो क्लॉज दे सकते हैं, if not exist। So if the table with this name doesn't exist, then it will create। If it exists, it will not। Getting? देखो, मैंने अगर अभी टेबल क्रिएट किया, क्रिएट टेबल if not exist, टेबल का नाम देता हूं EMP या पूरा एम्प्लॉय, उसमें एम्प्लॉय आईडी देता है इंटीजर, प्राइमरी की। ठीक है, नेम वेर केयर 50 दिया, फिर सैलरी, अभी सैलरी इंट की जगह पे फ्लोट देना है, फ्लोट दो। ओके, और इंट ही रखना है, इंट रखो। इट इज नॉट हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल, यू हैव टू टाइप इट ऑन द नेक्स्ट लाइन। एवरी कॉलम and the separate line, this whole thing you can type on the same line as well. ये सब कुछ एक लाइन पे भी टाइप किया जा सकता है. ठीक है. से पहले देखते हैं कि अगर ये मैंने नहीं लिखा रहेगा तो कैसे. आई एम क्रिएटिंग दिस टेबल गॉट क्रिएटेड. आप ये रिफ्रेश करके देखोगे तो देखो ये टेस्ट डीबी में टेबल सेक्शन पे क्लिक किया तो उसमें एम्प्लॉय दिखता है. एम्प्लॉय पे क्लिक किया तो नीचे इधर वो सब बताएगा. आईडी, नेम, सैलरी. Getting? And now if I again try to create it, it will give a error. Why? Because it will say employee already exists. दिख रहा है रेड क्रॉस है. क्यों? क्योंकि टेबल एम्प्लॉय ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट. तो ऐसे एरर्स नहीं आने चाहिए. तो एकदम फुल प्रूफ, एकदम रोबस्ट क्वेरीज लिखनी है तो ऐसे सब क्लॉजेस लिखते जाओ. इफ नॉट exist. Okay. And now if you run this, no, it is not giving error. Just like information दे रहा है. Information sort of like warning कि बता रहा है कि ये नाम का टेबल ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट है. बट इट इज नॉट ट्रीटेड एज अ एरर. एरर रहता तो रेड क्रॉस आएगा. ठीक है. होप इट इज क्लियर. तो इज इट गोइंग टू क्रिएट अ टेबल स्ट्रक्चर लाइक दिस विद एम्प्लॉय आईडी, नेम, सैलरी. यहां मैंने ईएमपी आईडी लिखा है, यहां बनाते समय आईडी लिखा. ओके. टिल हियर इट इज क्लियर. देन क्विक कंफर्मेशन मुझे दो.
Clear, sir.
Oh, yes,
डाउट्स
sir.
रहेंगे तो पूछते भी जाओ प्लीज. इफ यू हैव डाउट यू कैन आस्क मी. अदरवाइज देन आई जस्ट कीप मूविंग अहेड. मैं आगे चले जाता हूं. Now the next step is the table is created. Now we have to add records in it. ठीक है. And simultaneously मैं ये यहाँ डेमो भी करके दिखाता हूँ. So it's not like I'm only reading the slides and I'm moving ahead and just giving theoretical explanation. Nothing like that. देखो मैं हर कमांड भी बता रहा हूँ. यहाँ मैं क्विकली उसका डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन करके दिखाता हूँ. एवरीथिंग इज हैंड्स ऑन. सब कुछ प्रैक्टिकली करके दिखाया है. Getting? तो इट इज कंप्लीटली शोन दैट ये स्लाइड पे जो कमांड है वो वहां करके भी दिखाता हूं. नेक्स्ट इज इंसर्टिंग वैल्यूज इनटू द टेबल. टेबल तो बन गया. अब टेबल में रिकॉर्ड्स ऐड करने. राइट. तो हाउ टू ऐड रिकॉर्ड्स. तो रिकॉर्ड्स ऐड करने के लिए एक डीएमएल क्वेरी दिया है. डेटा मैनिपुलेशन लैंग्वेज. डेटा मैनिपुलेशन लैंग्वेज का क्वेरी. So what comes under that? So insert command है. Insert. Insert keyword है, याद रखना. ये MySQL का keyword है. Insert. Into. And can you see all these commands are declarative. ये non procedural है. Declarative है. इसमें आपसे बोल रहे क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. यू आर नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट. आप बोल रहे कि ये मेरे वैल्यूज लो और ये टेबल में जाके ऐड करो. हाउ टू ऐड वो MySQL देख लेगा. MySQL will search your table, then it will add that record in it. Okay, make the changes in the database. उसके लिए जो भी प्रोसीजर रहेगा वो पूरा MySQL implement करेगा. We don't have to write algorithms. So it is a imperative or declarative. It is declarative. We are only telling what to do. We are not bothered about how to do. Insert into, फिर table name देना है. ठीक है. फिर ये टेबल नेम के बाद अब कॉलम नेम्स भी लिख सकते हो. कॉलम नेम. बट वो कब लिखना है वो भी बताता हूं. विच इज अगेन अ कॉमन इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन दैट when to mention these column names at the time of inserting. So column name 1, column name 2, डॉट डॉट जितने भी रहेंगे. बट जैसे कहा ये कॉलम्स की नेम्स की लिस्ट पूरे ऑप्शनल है. एनीथिंग व्हाट आई राइट इन स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट, रिमेंबर कमांड में जब सिंटैक्स देता हूं Whenever I give you syntax, and in that syntax, if I write anything in square bracket, remember that part is optional. Syntax, जनरल syntax जब दिया है तो वो syntax में कुछ भी part अगर square में लिखा है, understand that that part is optional. It is not compulsory. Okay. So when to write these column names? I'll tell you, don't worry. Before that, I'll just complete the syntax. So insert into table name, then comes values. Values भी keyword है. Insert keyword है, into keyword है, values keyword. And then you have to give the list of values, comma separated list of value. ठीक है? तो value 1, value 2, value 3, going on. ठीक है? एंड मोर देन वन रिकॉर्ड तो और एक टपल दे सकते हैं. ये जो राउंड ब्रैकेट होता है ना, जिसमें वैल्यूज लिखते हो, लिस्ट ऑफ वैल्यू जब वो राउंड में देते हो उसको एक टपल कहते हैं या एक रिकॉर्ड. तो और रिकॉर्ड से तो जस्ट पुट कॉमा एंड अनदर टपल. सो इट विल ऐड दैट मेनी रिकॉर्ड्स एट अ टाइम. फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड, सेकंड रिकॉर्ड, थर्ड रिकॉर्ड. ठीक है? नाउ व्हेन यू हैव टू गिव द कॉलम नेम्स, okay, remember if you are going to add all the values and in the same order as they are in the table, means inside the table there are original columns. So whatever columns are there in that table, in the same order, if you're going to give the value and all column, means you're not skipping any column, then there is no need to write this column name list. Understanding? Like in your table, you're having three columns. One is maybe ID, second is name, third is salary. So when you're going to give values, you're going to give values for all the three columns and in the same order. टेबल में तीन कॉलम है, आईडी है, नेम है, सैलरी है. अब तीनों कॉलम में वैल्यू देने वाले हो और वही ऑर्डर में, जिस ऑर्डर में वो कॉलम्स है. पहले इधर मैं आईडी लिखूंगा, नेम लिखूंगा, सैलरी. आईडी, नेम, सैलरी, आईडी, नेम, सैलरी. So if you are going to give the values for all the column and in the same order as they are in the table, then there is no need to mention this column list. ये column list लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. Getting? But when to mention तो अभी समझना चाहिए. When to reason, when you are not going to give the value in the same order. ये वैल्यूज देते समय आप वही ऑर्डर में नहीं दे रहे हो. ओरिजिनल ऑर्डर आईडी, नेम, सैलरी है, बट यहां देते समय मैंने पहले सैलरी दिया, फिर आईडी दिया एंड फिर नेम दिया. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? सो इफ यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू गिव द वैल्यूज इन द सेम ऑर्डर as the order is there in the table of your column, then you have to mention the column name. फिर आपको column name देना पड़ेगा. And second, if you are not going to give value for all the column, means किसी column के लिए values missing है. अब बोलोगे missing है तो फिर क्या लेगा? तो उस column के लिए कोई default value दे के रखा रहेगा आपने. Table create करते समय to that column you might have given some default value. So if you are not going to give values for all the column, or you are not going to give the values in the same order as the columns are in the original table, then you have to mention the column name. Understanding? So when we have to write the column name, can anyone tell me? If you want, again, I'll repeat. When to mention the column name? When? One, you're not giving the values in the same order, the order in which the columns are in your original table. टेबल में जिस ऑर्डर में कॉलम है उसी ऑर्डर में आप वैल्यू नहीं दे रहे हो, तो इधर कॉलम नेम लिखना पड़ेगा. जैसे मैं पहले देने वाला हूं सैलरी, फिर आईडी एंड फिर नेम, तो यहां लिखना पड़ेगा सैलरी कॉमा आईडी कॉमा नेम. एंड सेकेंड, when you are not going to give the values for all the column. किसी कॉलम को आप वैल्यू नहीं देने वाले हो, क्यों? क्योंकि वो कॉलम के लिए कोई डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू लेने वाला है। तो अगर आपने सब कॉलम के लिए वैल्यू नहीं दिया है, that time also you have to mention the column name. Okay, so can quickly anyone tell me when we have to mention the column name? Two reasons. इंसर्ट क्वेरी में कॉलम नेम्स कब लिखना पड़ता है? चलो क्विकली बताओ, कौन बताएगा? नो, नॉट अ सिंगल पर्सन। चलो चलो फास्ट। नो, आई एम वेटिंग फॉर यू गाइस। एंड नो, इफ यू हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड अगेन आई विल टेल यू, डोंट वरी। यू कैन जस्ट टेल मी यस सर प्लीज, और एक बार बताओ।
Clear, sir. Concept is very clear.
Got it, sir.
हाँ, तो कैन यू टेल मी व्हेन वी हैव टू मेंशन द कॉलम नेम्स इन दैट क्वेरी? See, this is the standard command. Insert into table name, column name, values, value list. So when we have to give this value column name, ideally this part is optional. तो कब लिखना पड़ता है?
When we're creating the table, right? At the time we are giving the column name.
Uh, Create table, table name,
Create table name,
that
column
time.
name, data type, constraints.
तो अभी वो सब कुछ जो जितना whatever I have told you, everything is वो हो गया पूरा रामायण एंड देन रामाजी सीता कौन, ऐसे वो हमारे मराठी में बोलते हैं। पूरा हो गया एंड एट द एंड आई एम आस्किंग यू द कंक्लूजन. I am asking when you have to mention the column names in insert query. My question is in insert query when we have to mention these column names. Mentioning column names at the time of insert is optional. Insert, if you have kept mic unmute, please mute it. Insert into table name. After that, you write column name. So I told you when this column name is compulsory to give. Actually, ये column name देना जरूरी नहीं होता है. Insert into table name, value and value list. So in insert query, when to give this column names after this table name? And I told you two reasons. You have not listened to that two reasons carefully. उस समय आपने उसको seriously लिया नहीं. Tell me when we have to give these column names at the time of insert query. Two reasons I told you. You're not listening carefully. That's the reason. When I'm delivering the lecture, meantime you're busy with your phones. You're busy checking your messages. ऐसे नहीं होता है. जब class join किया, you have to devote for that time strictly for class. Strictly what he's saying, I'm going to listen. My question is when to mention the column names in case of insert query. Insert into table name. यहाँ column names क्यों लिखना है? ये actually compulsory नहीं होता है. So I told you, if you're going to give values in the same order, the order in which your columns are, and you're going to give values for all the columns. जैसे अगर ये टेबल में 3 कॉलम्स है, आईडी है, नेम है, and salary है. So I am going to give values for all the 3 column and in the same order. First ID only, next name, next salary. पहले ID दूंगा, name दूंगा, salary दूंगा. So I am going to give the values in the same order and to all the column. Then there is no need to mention this column name. Getting? But if you are going to give values in different order, not the same order in which the columns are. आपके columns का order ID name salary है, but यहाँ देते समय first I'm going to give salary, then I'm going to give ID, and then I'm going to give name. Then you have to mention the column names here. यहाँ column name लिखना पड़ेगा salary, ID, name. One reason. And second, when you are not going to give values for all the columns, सारे कॉलम्स को वैल्यू नहीं देने वाले. सम कॉलम्स आर मिसिंग. जैसे अगर इसमें आईडी है, नेम है एंड सैलरी, बट आई एम गोइंग टू गिव ओनली आईडी एंड नेम, सैलरी नहीं देने वाला. व्हाई? बिकॉज मे बी मैंने उसके लिए डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू दे के रखी है. टेबल क्रिएट करते समय मे बी आई हैव गिवन सम डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू फॉर सैलरी, तो आई एम गोइंग टू गिव ओनली टू कॉलम्स. Getting? That time also you have to mention the column name. Getting? So when we have to mention the column names in the insert query,
Rearranging the column names, rearranging the
okay,
values in the column names. That's why we make changes in the columns. Like initially we give the column name email ID. I mean ID name salary, right? We want to alter the changing the order of columns at the time
okay.
we by giving the
While
value.
while inserting, while inserting
Yes.
the records, I am not
Hmm.
giving the values in the same order,
Same
the
order.
order
At
in
the
which the
time we want
columns
to
are.
change the column names. And we want to particular column names at the time of inserting records, like we want salary and name. At the time we want to give the column names only.
And what is the second reason?
Oh, hi, sir. Can you please repeat again because I was not able to hear you before. So, is it okay if you repeat the question?
My question was when to mention these column names at the time of inserting records. When you're inserting records in it, insert into employee. I can directly write values and give the values like 100. Okay. Here I'm giving Ram Joshi 45000. Understanding? I have not mentioned the column name here. Insert into table and directly values. But according to the syntax I told, insert into table, round bracket, column name, values, and the list of values. So when it is compulsory to mention these column names,
If we
when
need to change the sequence of values, like if I need to write the name before and then I need to give the ID and salary.
meaning you want to say when you're adding, you're giving the values in different sequence,
Yeah,
not in the same sequence in which the
yeah.
columns are.
Yes,
Like in
yes.
my original table, the sequence is ID name salary. But while giving values, I'm giving first salary, then maybe I'm giving ID, and then I'm giving name. Okay? So what is the sequence of my value? It is different, and the column sequence is different. Now, if I try to run this, it won't work. It will say, please mention the column name. So here you have to give the column name. Salary, ID, name. That is one reason. And what is the second reason when you are supposed to mention these column names?
We want to insert particular records like salary and name only. At the time we have to include this salary and name as a column names.
Meaning you want to say that some column is missing.
Yes.
You're not giving value for all. Getting? Like
Yes.
I'm giving value only for ID, right? I'm
Insert
giving
into
value for
employee
ID.
ID and name. We can give the values as ID and salary. ID and name. Okay. 101.
Getting? So I am not going to give value for all the column. The simple explanation is when you are not providing values for all the column. when you're not providing values for all the columns. Some columns are missing. So now you may say, if the column is missing, what will be its value? It will take some default value. Don't worry. Okay? But when you are not supplying values for all the column, that time also you have to mention the column name. Like I'm giving only ID and name. I'm not providing salary, whereas salary column is there, but I'm not giving value for salary. So some column is missing. That time also you have to mention the column name. Understanding or no? So what was my question? And this is a very common interview question. They ask when we need to mention the column name in case of insert query. Getting? So in case of insert query, when we have to mention the column name, when your value order is not the same as the column order. And second, when you're not giving values for all the column. Some column values are missing. That time you have to mention the column name. Okay? And if you are going to give value for all the column, if you are going to give value for all the column and in the same order, there is no need to write this as well. Okay? So देखो, here general syntax I have given. Insert into employee, column name, values. But in the same query, if I would have skipped this part, then also it will work. You can check. Okay? So what is my question? That you first understand and then try to respond to the question. Getting? The same thing will happen in the interviews also. Interviews face करते समय भी what that person is asking and you are telling something weird, कोई और ही चीज reply कर रहे हो, तो वो नहीं चलता है. Getting? So what the question is, you have to be precise and you have to respond to that question only. ठीक है? See, so here you can add some sample record, insert into employee values. Like I'm adding employee ID, employee name, salary. Some more if I'm adding 202. Okay. Done. So as many records you want, you can go on adding and semicolon. Run this. Okay. 3 records are affected. How many records got affected? That comes only for DML queries. DDL queries में वो record affected count नहीं देता है. ठीक है? Now next is if you want to view that records, whatever records are added, that if you want to view it. So for that there is the DQL query, data query language, a query coming under DQL category, and that is select. Okay, so there are two versions of select, and if you want to retrieve all the columns, right, star, and then from is the keyword and the name of the table. Okay, so what it will do, it will retrieve all the records from that table. This table is there in the database. So it will retrieve all the records from that table and all columns. So all row, all column will be given to Workbench. Workbench will display to the end user. But suppose you want only selected columns, then you can mention like this: select, give the column names. They can be in any order as well. Specific columns if you want, from table name. Okay? So from that table, it will retrieve all the columns, but only display it will retrieve all the row. Rows will be retrieved all, but only which columns will be printed, whichever column names you have written. Getting? Now you may ask how to print only the selected row. So we have to use the where clause that we cannot learn now. We have to uh, reach to that topic. There are many topics we have to go through, and then we will reach to where clause. Now just remember these two versions will print all the row. Getting? In this case, all rows are printed and all columns are printed. Here it will print all rows but selected column. Whichever column name you have mentioned in this list. So only those selected column but all row. Now you may say how to print selected row. So for selected row, you have to write a where clause, filtering. So that we will be learning later, not now. We have to reach to that topic. Before that, lot many other things you have to learn. Okay? So these two versions, I hope you got it. Select star from table name. It will display all row, all column. Select column names from table. It will display all rows, but selected columns. Okay? See. So that part is clear. We were supposed to learn that command first. Then I'll come to this command. This command will come. Before that, we'll learn this command because I did the explanation of this first. So to see values in table. Okay. Now to see all values of specific column, then give like this. Select specific column from employee. Example. And if you want all row, all column, then use star. Okay. Both the versions I have told you. See. Select star from employee. This is the second version. Which one to display entire table? All row, all column. Getting? All row, all column. See. Is it printing all row, all column? Three rows were only there. We added three rows. So three rows and all the column. And selected columns, if you want, mention that. Like you want to only display the name and the salary. Okay, from employee. So it will display only two columns, name and salary, but all row. Okay, see, all row, but only name and salary. Is it right? Okay. Then next is if you want to see the list of tables created. As many tables you have created, you want to see the list of all the tables. Then we have show tables command. As we saw show databases today. आज हमने एक show databases पढ़ा था. Same way, show tables. ठीक है? It will give you the list of tables. अभी हमने एक ही table create किया. So if I write show tables, see, is it giving list as one? Suppose और एक table हम बना देते हैं. चलो, I'll create one more table. Create table department. Department ID integer. Department name where के 50. ठीक है? Suppose this is one table created. Okay, and now if you check show tables, is it giving list of two tables? तो ये database में कितने tables बने? एक department और एक employee. Getting? I hope you understand. Whatever I'm trying to tell, it is clear. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Keep responding, guys.
Yes, sir.
And if you're not responding,
Yes, sir.
see, respond. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, तो you got it. तो basic concept पढ़ा अभी आज हमने. Today we learned how to create database. Then we saw how to enter in that database. Then we saw how to create table. Then we saw how to add records in it. And then we saw how to view those records. Okay. Based on that, I'll give you one exercise. Try to do it. Okay. First, what you have to do is you have to create one database with the name Instagram DB. एक database बनाना है with the name Instagram DB. ये database बन गया. Then we want to create tables in it. इसके अंदर tables बनाना है. ठीक है? So as I want to create tables inside it, I have to move inside it. ना? Use करना पड़ेगा ना? Use this database to create tables. अब उसमें enter हो गए. फिर ये दो tables create करने. I have to create that two tables. Then add records in it. अब देखो ये दो tables अगर carefully देखोगे तो there is one users table. Instagram के अंदर users होता है. तो user ID, username, email. Right? And then post. Post is connected with user. Whatever post is done, that post is done by some user. Getting? One user can do any number of posts, but the same post doesn't belong to multiple user. याद रखना. एक ही post many users के लिए नहीं होती है. हाँ, but one user can do multiple posts. Understanding? Like here it is user ID 1, user ID 2, user ID 3. Whatever, their name is A, B, C. उनके emails रहेंगे कुछ भी. Then we have post. Post 1, post 2, post 3, post 4. ठीक है? Here it is 1, 1. Whatever the title of the post. Here it is 2. Here again it is 1. So what does this signify? Post 1, post 2, post 4. These three posts are done by this first user. User 1 has done these three posts 1, 2, 4. Post 3 is done by user 2. Post 3, user 2 ने बनाया. Like here if it is 5 and 3. तो post 5 किसने किया? User 3 ने किया. Like that. And उनके captions रहेंगे. Then add records in it. Display all the tables in the database and display the records in all the table. Very basic exercise because we have learned only that much till now. अब तक हमने जितना पढ़ा है उतना ही. So till now we have learned whatever. Based on that, this exercises. ठीक है? So can you do it? Let's see. First, you need to create a database. Create database, and name of the database is Instagram DB. ठीक है? Do you agree, guys? Create database Instagram DB. Execute it. Okay, if you refresh this side, you can see there is one database with the name Instagram DB. Now I have to enter into this database. So I have to write use Instagram DB because unless and until you switch in that database, you won't be able to create tables under that database. Okay? Can you see now immediately Instagram DB is bold, वो dark black दिख रहा है, to indicate that this is your current database. Currently you are in that database. Now create tables. So first I'll create table users. So create table users. Okay. We have user ID. I'll give integer. You can give primary key to it because every user ID should be unique. हर एक user ID unique होना चाहिए. So user ID, integer, primary key, then user name. For time being, I'll give it varchar50. And last, email of the user. This also suppose varchar50, 100 if you want to give. Okay? If you want, you can type this on the same line as well. It doesn't make any difference. Okay? Whole thing on one line. It will work. Or you're typing everything on the separate line. Still it works. Okay? It doesn't have a pre-decided structure. Okay? I'm selecting. Now that table is created. Then you have to create another table called post. So I'll create one more table, create table post, in which there will be post ID, integer, primary key. Okay, post ID. Every post should have a unique post number. But how we will come to know that this post is done by which user? ये पोस्ट किस यूजर ने किया है वो यूजर आईडी कनेक्ट किया है यहाँ. Getting? So here we have user ID, integer. And third is the caption of that post. Caption means title. So suppose I'm giving varchar 50. Done. Okay, I'll execute this command. Till here it is clear. Now we have to add sample records in it. To add sample record, you can take help of any of the AI tool, which ideally you should do. Okay, अपना काम fast करना है. So obviously you should take help of what? Different AI tools available. So the standard one is ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT. And what you do is just paste your create table command. See. Okay. These two tables structure, you can just paste. Okay. And after that, you can just write, please generate sample records. Okay. For these tables. Now, how many sample record? That also you can mention. 5 to 10 sample record, 100 sample records. That's all. Please generate sample records for these table. Directly it will generate and give you insert query. You can just paste that insert queries in Workbench and your work is done. Okay, see here. Has it generated sample records for users around 10 sample record? And यहाँ कुछ around 20 sample records generate किए. And can you see these are post ID and these are user ID. यहाँ दिख रहा है 5, 5, 5 repeated. This proves that these are the three posts posted by user 5. User 1 ने 2 post किए, user 2 ने 3 किए, user 3 ने 2 किए, user 4 ने एक ही post किया, 10 ने 2 post किए, 9 has posted only 1. Okay, now what you do is copy this, come here, paste. So these are sample records for users. Select this whole thing, execute it. Records added. Then come to this. These are the sample records generated for posts. These are the captions, title of your post, enjoying the weekend, learning SQL joins, coffee time, vacation memory. In reality, only titles are not there. They are image link and all, or if it is a video, then video link. So many things are there. Now, for simplicity, we have taken only the basics. Okay. Again, select this and run it. Around 20 records it has added in posts and 10 record it has added in users. Right, guys? So if you are done with this, you can give me quick confirmation कि आप लोगों ने भी ये किया रहेगा तो बताओ. Okay, and remember in SQL, if you want to write any comment, you have to start with two slash slash, two dash dash. Dash dash indicates that that line is a comment. Comments are always ignored. Comments are ignored, but they are only for documentation. For documentation purpose, you can use such comments only for your help. Actually, they are never executed. Okay? So can you tell me quickly, have you generated query, insert record for users and insert record for post?
Yes, sir.
Sure, then you paste it. Then, did you get some similar sort of records or names? Did you get some Indian names only, or you have got Western names also?
All Indian.
Okay. It depends on your previous chat history also. Means to chat GPT in the past, how you have communicated, it maintains that knowledge also. Chat GPT is behaving like human brain only. It is keeping the knowledge, past knowledge, it is remembering and it recalls that past knowledge and that way it generates the name. For some people, na, those who are giving this command for the first time, it may generate that Western names also, Alice, Bob, and all that type of names also. Okay? Now, after generating these records, the next part was insert records, display all the tables in the database. So can I write show tables? See, two tables are there in this Instagram DB, post and user. And next question is display all the values in about table. So suppose I write select star from users. Okay, star means all column. Many times you have to avoid writing star. That is also a common interview question. How you can optimize the query. So query optimization, lot of things are there. In that one, this factor is also there. Unnecessary, you should not write star. Star means all column. Generally prefer writing only those column which you want in the output. Only if you want to print all the column, then go. If you want specific, try printing the specific column only. Okay? See. Is it displaying the list of all the 10 users? And same way, if you're printing select star from posts, it will display all the posts which are there in the post date table. See, around, I guess, 120 records are there. So 120 posts are there, but can you see user ID? Somewhere user ID 222 is repeat. Means it indicate these are the three posts done by user number 2. Understanding? These three, 888. So all three are done by user number 8. User number 9 has done only one post. User number 10 has done two posts. Not necessarily your chat GPT has given your chat and my chat GPT same, but for you, it might have generated the response according to your past knowledge. Right? Whatever communication you have done with your chat GPT, it recalls that past knowledge and based on that, it generates the record. It is not possible that it has generated the same records for you. The records may be different also, guys. Getting? So quick confirmation you can give me for this.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
We'll do that.
Then,
We'll do that.
okay. So some questions I am giving you, you can just Take the screenshot and try to solve whenever you get time. It's not like you have to solve it immediately. Whenever on weekends you get time, or in the whole day, if you get some time, try to solve it. Okay? So if you want, you can just take screenshot of it based on that only. Okay? So if you have taken the screenshot, then I'll give you next question.
Done, sir.
Sure? Good. Then this one next. Just to give you um, different types of scopes. Like in this case, it is related to food, like customer and the customer places order. In this case, like movies and the bookings for that movie.
Yes, done, sir.
Then third is student management. Here the student and the marks, student data, and in marks we are keeping the marks information of that student. Okay. Okay. Is this one also done? Quickly, you can give me confirmation.
Sir.
Okay. Then we will be just talking about what is data type, and then we'll just see the classification. In the next session, we will talk about each data type in detail. Getting? Because data types is also very important part for creating tables. Because when you're going to create table, you have to give the data type for each column. If you observe it here, when we created table, so we have given data type to each column. So what are the different data types provided by MySQL? So all that we have to learn. Now I cannot list out each and every data type. We will be learning only the common one, which commonly needed. Means in your 90% applications, which data types we need. There can be some specialized data types, but commonly needed, which are there, that I'll enlist. So before that, what do you mean by data type? Data type indicates the type of value which is kept in a column of any table. Correct? So table is made up of columns. So what type of value will be kept in that column? Every column is going to occupy memory because what is stored? Records, and every record is stored in the secondary. So every record is going to have what? Space. It is going to take space. So what values are kept in that column are indicated with data types. So whether in that column whole numbers are kept, or whether floating point numbers are stored, or whether text is stored, or whether Boolean value is stored, or whether you're going to store date or date and time. So many things are there. Okay? So what type of value will be kept in that column? That is indicated by data type. Data type, because of data type, we come to know how much memory is to be reserved for that column. वो कॉलम के लिए कितना जगह रिजर्व करना है वो डेटा टाइप से पता चलता है डेटा टाइप टेल्स द रेंज ऑल्सो what will be the minimum value, what will be the maximum value. It gives you the range of values. Values की range क्या रहेगी? How much space will be reserved for it? That all things are decided by data type. Correct? So what is data type is clear to you. Data types are used to specify the type of data that a column can store. And column is where? In a table. Table is made up of Table is made up of what? Columns. And column contains what? Values. So what type of value or what type of data is kept in that column is indicated by data type. And these data types you have to give at the time of creating the table. Creating table means database schema. Schema means design. So when you are designing the table, that time only you have to tell the data type of each column, which we did here also. See, here also, when I created those two tables, so that time, am I mentioning the data type of each column? User ID, integer, username, varchar, email, varchar. Isn't it or no? Okay. So what are different data types MySQL has provided? There can be many more, guys. I am listing out the commonly used. Getting commonly used, which will be helpful in your analytics and data engineering and all those field. Okay. So first is numeric. First category is numeric. Now in numeric, whole numbers come, floating point numbers come, fixed numeric is also there. Okay, so I've listed out your integer, small int, big int. Small int is half of integer, big int is double of integer. Like that. Means suppose approximate integer takes plus or minus 2 billion. So this will be approximate 32,000 plus or minus. And big int is approximate plus or minus 9 quintillion. Getting? Now you'll say how come double to how double means only the bytes are double, but the capacity, like suppose if this is 1 byte, byte means 8 bits. 8 bits make 1 byte. So if we add or one more byte, capacity is 8 times double. Please remember, just 1 bit makes the capacity double. So how many bits are added? 8 bit. So capacity is 8 times double. Whatever capacity previously, adding just 1 bit makes it double. One more bit doubles double. Like that, 8 times double. Therefore, I said like this. So half capacity is small int, double capacity is big int. Then decimal. Decimal means floating, but how many digits before and how many digits after the dot? That is fixed. You're making fixed. Decimal, if I'm writing 9 comma 2. Okay. So you're telling the total width is 9 and from which after dot it is 2. Dot ke baad 2, total 9. So before dot 7 digits maximum. So that capacity. Then float is also for floating point value, but their precision is very much high than this decimal. Okay, it is approximate 6-digit precision, and double is around 15-digit precision. But they are also for floating point only. Floating values means you're understanding, na? Those which are not whole number. जो whole numbers नहीं है, those who are whole number, they come under this category. Integer, small int, big int, and those who are numbers, but they have floating point. After dot, something is there. Then we use decimal, float, double. Okay. Then about character. So in that we have char, varchar, text. There is a difference between char and varchar. I'll be telling you, but now just remember these all three are for storing strings. Strings means sequence of characters. Any sequence of characters becomes a string. Okay? So if you want to store name, email ID, department, city, okay, some description, address, right? Like if you're doing any blog post, so your blog post is containing a very big paragraph, not only one paragraph, a page of information. Then go for text. Correct? So We have char, varchar, text. I'll tell you the difference between char and varchar. Don't worry. Then date and time. Date and time is very common. This is called a time series. Like you're storing joining date of employee, birth date of an employee, okay, or sales date, sales information you're doing. So that sale is done on which date, or a bill date if the bill is generated. So, or order is placed. So on which date the order was placed. So for that we need date and time. So only date, only time, date and time, they both are same. Means you can use date time or timestamp. And then if you want to store only true or false, just true store karna hai ya false, then go for boolean. Okay, which allows only two value, true or false. And when you want to store any information in a binary form, like you want to dump a complete image only in the database. You have a PNG file or a JPG file, an image, a photograph, and the entire photograph only you want to dump in the database. Or you have a PDF file, a very big PDF file, and that PDF file only you want to store in the database, which is actually not recommended. Instead of dumping that whole audio or a video, they say put it on the cloud and just keep the link in it. The modern programming follows that way, but it is allowed. You can dump that complete image or a complete video or audio or a PDF file. That time you need to use binary data. So binary, variable binary, blob, binary large object. They are called as binary large object. So binary. So these are the classification. Each one in detail we will learn. Okay. About each and every one we have to learn. But what we'll do is we'll learn all this thing in the next session.